Have you ever wondered if behind the fierce confidence and vibrant energy of a Leo, there lies a darker, more complex side? A side that even they might struggle to acknowledge? We all know the Leo, charismatic, determined, a born leader who thrives in the spotlight. But what if I told you that their need for admiration and control could sometimes lead to a path of isolation and emotional turmoil? The very traits that make Leo so admirable can also make them their own worst enemy. In this video, we're diving deep into the hidden aspects of Leo's personality, those traits that are not always so flattering. We'll uncover how their desire for control, the overwhelming need for admiration, and their dramatic nature can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. But don't be mistaken, these qualities don't make them any less remarkable. Instead, they highlight the complex nature of their character, one that needs to balance power, humility, and emotional intelligence. So, are you ready to discover the dark side of Leo? To uncover the traits they often hide, even from themselves? If you're passionate about astrology and the deeper truths of human nature, make sure to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life. In our future videos, we'll continue to explore not just the stars, but how they influence our lives, and how we can use this knowledge to live a more balanced and enlightened life. Stay with us till the end, and together, let's uncover the mysteries of Leo, and perhaps learn something that can guide us in our own journey towards self-awareness and growth. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and join our peaceful community, where we embrace the journey of understanding ourselves and the cosmos. This is Zen Mind, where we seek tranquility through wisdom and introspection. Let's get started. 1. Vanity and arrogance, the struggle with overinflated ego. Leos are often known for their vibrant and outgoing personalities. They command attention when they enter a room, and they know how to shine. However, one of the darker sides of this charismatic presence is their tendency towards vanity and arrogance. It's important to remember that Leo is ruled by the sun, the source of all life and light in the solar system. The sun itself is symbolic of the ego, self-expression, and personal identity. Therefore, when Leos face challenges or insecurity, they may overcompensate by inflating their self-worth, sometimes to an unhealthy level. Astrological insight. The sun's influence in Leo makes them highly attuned to how they are perceived by others. Leos thrive on admiration, and their sense of self-worth is often tied to the praise and recognition they receive. This isn't inherently negative, it is simply part of their nature to seek acknowledgement for their efforts. However, when their need for recognition goes unchecked, they may appear self-centered or even arrogant. The impact on relationships. In their relationships, this constant need for validation can create tension. Leos may seek attention to feel valued and loved, but when they don't receive it, they can become sulky or even aggressive. Their pride is easily bruised, and if they feel unappreciated, they might lash out in anger or become passive-aggressive. They may even distance themselves emotionally, believing that they deserve better treatment. Real-life example. Imagine a Leo in the workplace, a natural leader, talented and full of energy. However, when a colleague gets more attention for a job well done, a Leo may feel overlooked and undervalued, even if their contribution was equally important. They may then become resentful or even undermine the colleague in subtle ways, all because their ego was not properly fed. Advice for Leos. To deal with this dark side, Leos must learn to separate their self-worth from external validation. They need to realize that their value is not solely dependent on the admiration of others. Cultivating internal validation, through self-reflection and understanding their own worth, can help them break free from the need for constant praise and allow them to feel secure in their own skin without the weight of others' opinions. 2. Dominating control and authoritarianism, the tyrant within. Leos are natural-born leaders, and their energy often inspires others to follow them. But there is a flip side to this leadership, the need to control. When their leadership becomes too authoritarian, they can transform into tyrants. They may impose their vision on others, unwilling to compromise or listen to opposing viewpoints. This desire for control stems from a deep fear of losing their position as the center of attention or as the one in charge. Astrological insight. Leo is ruled by the sun, which represents authority and dominance. While these qualities can be empowering when used in balance, they can also lead to a tendency to dominate and exert control over others. When Leo's need for validation combines with their leadership qualities, it can manifest as an overbearing attitude, expecting others to adhere to their standards without question. The impact on relationships. This can create friction in both personal and professional relationships. People around a Leo may feel suffocated or micromanaged, as Leos struggle to relinquish control. The darker side of Leo's leadership can make them dismissive of others' ideas and contributions, believing that only their way is the right way. Over time, this can result in alienation, as others may withdraw to avoid conflict. Real-life example. A Leo might run a team or be in charge of a family dynamic, and while they have great ideas, they often impose their vision without seeking input from others. This can create a toxic work or home environment where others feel undervalued and stifled. Eventually, this lack of collaboration can lead to resentment. Advice for Leos. To combat this tendency, Leos should practice humility and recognize the strengths of those around them. They should learn to listen to others and allow space for collaboration. Trusting others with responsibility and letting go of control can help Leo maintain balance and foster more harmonious relationships. 3. Drama and overreaction, the need for constant attention. For Leos, life isn't just a series of events, it's a theatrical performance. They crave the spotlight, and they want every moment to feel significant and full of meaning. This need for drama can lead to unnecessary overreactions, where a simple issue is blown out of proportion. Leos can feel the need to be the center of attention at all times, and if they don't get it, they might create chaos to draw people back to them. Astrological insight. Leos are a fire sign, and fire signs tend to be passionate, energetic, and sometimes impulsive. This fiery energy can translate into heightened emotions and dramatic flare-ups. Leos may feel that every moment needs to be intense in that life without drama lacks excitement or purpose. The impact on relationships. This dramatic tendency can be exhausting for those around them. People close to a Leo might find themselves caught up in unnecessary emotional turmoil, forced to navigate unpredictable moods or explosive reactions. While Leos often thrive on high-energy exchanges, their loved ones might yearn for moments of calm and tranquility. Real-life example. Imagine a Leo in a romantic relationship. If something as simple as a delayed text message occurs, they might perceive it as a betrayal or lack of care, leading to an exaggerated emotional response. This behavior can be bewildering for their partner, who may feel as though they're walking on eggshells, never knowing when a minor issue will turn into a major drama. Advice for Leos. Leos need to cultivate emotional awareness and learn to keep their passions in check. They should focus on finding meaning in the everyday, without needing to create drama to feel alive. Practicing mindfulness and emotional regulation can help them enjoy the present moment without turning everything into a spectacle. 4. Inability to admit fault, the perception of infallibility. One of the most significant dark traits of Leo is their inability to admit when they are wrong. Leos have a strong sense of pride and self-assurance, which often makes them reluctant to acknowledge their mistakes. They believe in their own infallibility, and this can prevent them from learning, growing, or admitting when they've made an error. Astrological insight. The Sun, as Leo's ruling planet, represents the ultimate expression of self. This gives Leos incredible confidence but can also make them resistant to criticism or correction. Their belief in their own power and wisdom can lead to a rigid mindset, where they are unwilling to see things from other perspectives. The impact on relationships. This trait can create tension in relationships, as others may feel that Leo is unapproachable or unwilling to engage in constructive dialogue. This inability to admit fault can lead to a breakdown in communication and trust, as people around Leo may feel dismissed or invalidated. Real-life example. At work, a Leo may refuse to accept that a project they spearheaded didn't go well. Instead of taking responsibility and learning from the experience, they may shift the blame onto others, even if they were the ones who made the initial error. This can lead to frustration and a lack of respect from their colleagues. Advice for Leos. Leos need to embrace humility and understand that mistakes are a natural part of growth. Learning to accept responsibility and admitting when they are wrong will make them stronger and more respected as leaders. By practicing self-reflection and opening themselves up to feedback, Leos can improve their relationships and personal development. 5. Contempt for mediocrity, the relentless pursuit of perfection. Leos are driven by a deep desire for greatness. They cannot stand the idea of being average or ordinary. They strive for excellence in everything they do, and their pursuit of perfection can sometimes lead them to look down on those who don't share their same ambition. This attitude can create a barrier between Leo and others, making it difficult for them to form meaningful connections with people who may not have the same level of ambition. Astrological insight. As a fire sign, Leo is naturally competitive and driven. The influence of the sun gives them an unyielding drive to succeed and stand out. While this is a great asset in many areas of life, it can also foster a sense of superiority, where Leo may struggle to understand why others are content with less. The impact on relationships. Leo's disdain for mediocrity can alienate those around them. Friends, family members, or colleagues who are not as ambitious may feel dismissed or unimportant. This can lead to feelings of isolation for Leo, as they unintentionally distance themselves from valuable relationships by focusing solely on their own achievements. Real-life example. In a social setting, a Leo may dismiss someone for having lesser ambitions, thinking they are settling for mediocrity. They may make offhand comments about how others aren't living up to their potential, which can create tension and make those individuals feel misunderstood or judged. Advice for Leos. Leos need to learn that not everyone has the same drive or definition of success. Embracing diversity in ambitions and celebrating the small victories in others' lives will help Leo build stronger, more supportive relationships. By recognizing the value in different paths and perspectives, Leos can broaden their understanding of success. 6. Fear of vulnerability, the armor of pride. One of Leo's most significant internal struggles is their deep fear of vulnerability. Behind the bold and confident exterior lies a profound insecurity that they often go to great lengths to hide. Leos are fiercely protective of their image and their heart, fearing that showing vulnerability might make them seem weak or inferior. This tendency to shield themselves from emotional openness can create barriers in their relationships and personal growth. Astrological insight. The Sun, Leo's ruling planet, represents the self and ego, and its strong influence makes Leo reluctant to reveal their more fragile side. Leos often feel the need to project strength at all times, believing that their emotional vulnerability could diminish their power or diminish their status. They fear that revealing their true emotions will expose them to judgment or loss of control. The impact on relationships. In romantic relationships, this fear of vulnerability can lead to emotional distance. Leo may avoid sharing their insecurities or fears, believing that doing so will make them seem less capable or attractive. This can create a lack of intimacy and make their partner feel disconnected or shut out. Similarly, with friends or family, Leo may put up walls, refusing to let others see their true emotional struggles. Real-life example. A Leo in a relationship may hide their anxieties about the future or personal insecurities, believing that showing these emotions would make them appear weak. Instead, they may come across as overly confident or even dismissive when deep down, they long for someone to connect with on a deeper emotional level. This distance can prevent true emotional intimacy and trust from developing. Advice for Leos. To overcome this fear, Leos need to embrace the strength that comes from vulnerability. Being open about their emotions doesn't make them weak, rather, it makes them more authentic and connected to others. Learning that vulnerability is a sign of courage, not weakness, can lead to more fulfilling and genuine relationships. 7. Overdependence on external validation, the need to be seen. Leos thrive on admiration and external validation, and they often base their sense of self-worth on how others perceive them. While this need for validation can be motivating, it can also become unhealthy if taken too far. When their need for approval from others becomes excessive, Leos can feel lost or unworthy if they are not constantly recognized or praised. Astrological insight. As the sun represents the ego and self-expression, Leos are naturally inclined to seek validation and admiration. They view recognition as a reflection of their success and importance. This deep desire for external approval, however, can lead to a constant cycle of seeking validation to reaffirm their self-worth. The impact on relationships. Leos who rely too heavily on external validation may put unnecessary pressure on their partners, friends, or colleagues to always praise or acknowledge their efforts. When this validation is not forthcoming, they can become despondent or even resentful. This can cause a rift in relationships, as people around them may feel obligated to shower them with attention, leading to an imbalance. Real-life example. At work, a Leo might constantly seek praise from their boss or colleagues. If they don't receive the recognition they feel they deserve, they might become disillusioned or even passive-aggressive. Instead of celebrating their accomplishments internally, they look outward for approval, making their self-worth dependent on others' opinions. Advice for Leos. Leos must work on building self-worth that is not tied to the approval of others. They should focus on cultivating a strong sense of inner validation by recognizing their own accomplishments, qualities, and contributions. Meditation and self-reflection can help them shift their focus from external praise to internal fulfillment. 8. Intolerance for weakness, the reluctance to show empathy. Leos, driven by their need to be strong and capable, sometimes struggle with empathy for those they perceive as weak or lacking ambition. They can be very hard on others who do not share their high standards or drive for greatness. This can lead to impatience and frustration when dealing with people who seem to lack the same intensity or commitment that they bring to their own life. Astrological insight. The sun's influence on Leo gives them a powerful sense of self and the belief that their path to greatness is the correct one. This confidence can lead to a form of emotional rigidity, where they cannot understand or tolerate others who appear less determined or successful. For Leos, failure or weakness is something to be avoided at all costs, and they may project these feelings onto others. The impact on relationships. Leos may find themselves alienating people who are struggling or less confident. When friends or family go through difficult times, Leos might not always understand why they can't just overcome it as easily as they do. This lack of empathy can cause tension, as others may feel judged or dismissed for their perceived shortcomings. Real-life example. In a friendship, if a Leo's friend is going through a tough time or not achieving their goals at the same pace, the Leo might become frustrated, telling them to snap out of it or try harder. Instead of offering support, they may offer unsolicited advice or harsh criticism, failing to understand that not everyone deals with challenges in the same way. Advice for Leos. Leos should develop greater empathy by understanding that everyone has their own journey. They should try to put themselves in others' shoes and recognize that weakness is not a personal flaw but a part of the human experience. Learning to be patient and supportive can help them connect with others more deeply and avoid alienating those who are struggling. 9. Fear of being ordinary, the quest for constant uniqueness. Leos are driven by the need to be exceptional. For them, being ordinary is a fate worse than failure. This quest for constant uniqueness can lead to feelings of insecurity and dissatisfaction if they don't feel they are standing out in some way. The idea of being just another face in the crowd fills them with dread, leading them to go to great lengths to maintain their sense of individualism. Astrological insight. The Sun, ruling Leo, is the symbol of individuality and self-expression. Leos are naturally inclined to stand out, but this need can sometimes lead them to an unhealthy obsession with being different or exceptional at all costs. They often feel that they must prove themselves continually in order to justify their worth and avoid being seen as just another person. The impact on relationships. This constant need for uniqueness can create problems in relationships. Leo may reject anything that feels too mainstream or conventional, making them seem out of touch with reality. They may also place unrealistic expectations on themselves or others to keep things exciting, which can put undue pressure on those around them. Real-life example. A Leo might feel the need to constantly be at the center of attention, seeking out unconventional hobbies, style choices, or lifestyles to keep their sense of uniqueness alive. While this might be inspiring for some, others might find it exhausting or superficial, especially if the Leo constantly tries to stand out just for the sake of it. Advice for Leos. Leos need to learn that they do not have to be extraordinary in every moment to feel valued. Sometimes, it's the simple, quiet moments that reveal their true greatness. Embracing both their uniqueness and their ordinary moments with grace can help them find balance and peace with who they are, without the pressure to always perform or stand out. 10. Stubbornness and inflexibility, the refusal to change. Leos are incredibly self-assured, and this confidence can sometimes turn into stubbornness. Once they set their mind on something, it can be very difficult for them to change course or entertain new ideas. Their fixed mindset, coupled with their immense pride, makes them resistant to feedback or constructive criticism. This inflexibility can lead to frustration and missed opportunities for growth. Astrological insight. Leo's fixed nature, combined with their ruling planet the Sun, contributes to a rigid self-image. They see themselves as the authority, which can make it difficult to accept that they might not have all the answers. Change is challenging for Leo, as they are accustomed to their own strength and certainty. And admitting they were wrong can feel like a blow to their identity. The impact on relationships. In relationships, Leo's stubbornness can create tension. They may refuse to back down during disagreements, believing their way is the best way. This can lead to conflict, as others feel unheard or disregarded. Over time, this inflexibility can cause rifts in friendships, romantic relationships, and professional partnerships. Real-life example. In a business setting, a Leo might stick to their plan even when it's clear that things aren't working, rather than listening to feedback or adjusting their approach. They might double down on their methods, pushing others to follow suit. This can create an environment where people feel trapped or frustrated by the lack of flexibility. Advice for Leos. Leos need to learn the value of adaptability and openness to change. Being able to admit when they're wrong or when a situation requires a new approach will enhance their growth and relationships. Practicing mindfulness and considering alternative viewpoints can help Leos develop a more flexible mindset that embraces learning and evolution. 11. Manipulation and power plays, the need to control the narrative. Leos possess an intense need for control, not just over their own lives but also over the dynamics of the people around them. They are naturally influential, and when their darker side emerges, they may resort to manipulation to maintain power or shift the situation in their favor. Their charm, confidence, and commanding presence can sometimes be used as tools for exerting influence, even in subtle ways. Astrological insight. Leos, ruled by the Sun, have an inherent drive to lead and be the focal point of attention. This powerful energy, when left unchecked, can manifest as an obsession with control. Leos often want to dictate the narrative, whether it's in a group, a conversation, or a situation, so they can remain at the center. The urge to have everything go according to their wishes can occasionally cross the line into manipulation. The impact on relationships. This trait can be particularly damaging in personal and professional relationships. Leos might subtly manipulate others by using their charisma and persuasive tactics to get their way. People around them might feel coerced or pressured, unable to voice their true opinions or desires, leading to a loss of trust and authenticity. Real-life example. In a family setting, a Leo might try to sway decisions by playing on the emotions of others. They might use their charm or exaggerate situations to ensure that their viewpoint is adopted, even if it's not in the best interest of everyone. This type of subtle manipulation can lead to resentment and a lack of open communication. Advice for Leos. To counteract this tendency, Leos need to learn that true leadership is about empowering others, not controlling them. They should focus on collaboration, sharing control, and respecting the voices of those around them. Trust and mutual respect are more powerful than manipulation when it comes to building lasting connections. 12. Impulsive decision-making, the risk of acting without thinking. Leos are known for their passion and decisiveness, but these qualities can sometimes lead them to make rash decisions without fully considering the consequences. Their impulsivity can result in regret or missed opportunities, as they tend to act based on emotion rather than logic or careful analysis. Astrological insight. Leo, as a fire sign, is ruled by a bold and spontaneous energy. Their enthusiasm often drives them to make quick decisions, and they may struggle to slow down and think things through. The sun's influence fuels their impulsivity, as they want to act quickly and decisively to keep things moving. The impact on relationships. Impulsivity can be particularly troublesome in relationships, both personal and professional. Leos may make hasty promises or take on too much at once, only to realize later that they cannot fulfill their commitments. This can create disappointment and frustration for those around them, who may feel let down by their lack of follow-through. Real-life example. A Leo might impulsively buy an expensive item, feeling driven by the desire for luxury or to impress others, without considering the financial implications. Later, they might feel guilty or stressed about the purchase, but by then, it's too late. Their impulsive decisions often lead to regret or difficult consequences that could have been avoided. Advice for Leos. Leos can benefit from practicing patience and mindfulness before making decisions. Taking a step back, considering the long-term consequences, and consulting with others can help them avoid making hasty choices. Learning to balance their enthusiasm with careful planning will ultimately lead to more fulfilling outcomes. 13. Fear of rejection, the hidden insecurity. While Leos may appear confident and self-assured, they often harbor a deep fear of rejection. This insecurity stems from their need for constant affirmation and validation from others. The thought of being overlooked, ignored, or unappreciated can be devastating for Leo, despite their outward bravado. This fear can lead them to take extreme measures to ensure that they are always at the center of attention, even if it means compromising their authenticity. Astrological insight. Leo's ruling planet, the Sun, is all about identity, self-expression, and ego. This makes Leo highly sensitive to any perceived slight to their self-image or reputation. Their need to be admired and adored can become a defense mechanism against the fear that they aren't good enough or worthy of love and attention. The impact on relationships. In relationships, this fear of rejection can manifest as jealousy or possessiveness. Leos may act out if they feel that their partner or close friends are not giving them the attention they crave. They might become anxious, paranoid, or defensive, always seeking reassurance that they are loved and valued. This can cause friction, as their need for constant validation can be exhausting for others. Real-life example. In a romantic relationship, a Leo may constantly seek reassurance from their partner, needing to hear how much they are loved and admired. If they don't receive this validation, they may begin to feel neglected or unimportant, which can lead to unnecessary conflicts. This fear of rejection, if not addressed, can create a toxic cycle of insecurity. Advice for Leos. Leos must learn to cultivate self-love and confidence that does not rely on external validation. By building a strong foundation of inner self-worth, they can face rejection more gracefully and learn that their value does not diminish because of the opinions or actions of others. Meditation and self-reflection are powerful tools to help Leos strengthen their sense of self. 14. Self-centeredness, the struggle with empathy. Leos, while generous and caring, can sometimes be so wrapped up in their own world and struggles that they forget to consider the feelings and needs of others. Their dominant personalities and focus on their own ambitions can make them come across as self-centered or even indifferent to the experiences of those around them. Astrological insight. As a fixed fire sign ruled by the sun, Leos are intensely focused on themselves. They are driven by a need to express their individuality and often prioritize their own desires and needs above others. This self-focus can sometimes cause them to overlook the emotional needs of others, especially if they are preoccupied with their own goals. The impact on relationships. This lack of consideration can create tension in relationships. While Leos may be generous in giving gifts or attention, they may struggle with listening or providing emotional support when others need it. Their desire to be seen and admired can sometimes overshadow their ability to be present and empathetic toward the people they care about. Real-life example. In a friendship, a Leo may talk about their own achievements, successes, and challenges for hours without asking how their friend is doing. Over time, the friend might feel unheard and unimportant. The Leo's self-centeredness can lead to feelings of isolation or resentment, as their friend may feel neglected. Advice for Leos. Leos can benefit from practicing active listening and becoming more attuned to the emotions and needs of others. Learning to share the spotlight and celebrate the successes of others is an essential step toward building more meaningful and balanced relationships. Empathy is a key trait that can help Leo connect with others on a deeper level. 15. Need for drama, the desire for constant excitement. Leos crave excitement, intensity, and passion in every aspect of their lives. While their adventurous spirit can be inspiring, their need for constant drama can sometimes create unnecessary chaos. Life without high emotional stakes or thrilling experiences may feel dull to a Leo, leading them to instigate conflict or exaggerate situations just to keep the energy flowing. Astrological insight. Leos, as a fire sign, are naturally passionate and driven by a need to express themselves boldly. The sun's influence makes them crave attention and dramatic moments that highlight their vitality and enthusiasm. While this can be motivating, it can also lead them to seek out chaos or emotional turmoil if life feels too routine. The impact on relationships. Leo's constant pursuit of drama can be exhausting for those around them. Their friends, family, or partners might find themselves swept up in unnecessary conflicts or emotional storms. This need for excitement can disrupt the peace in relationships and create a sense of unpredictability, making it difficult for others to feel secure or at ease. Real-life example. A Leo might stir up conflict during a social gathering just to get attention or to break the monotony. They may exaggerate an issue or create tension where there was none, simply because they thrive on the emotional intensity that comes with drama. Over time, people may begin to avoid Leo's presence to escape the emotional roller coaster. Advice for Leos. Leos can work on finding excitement and joy in the simpler moments of life. Instead of seeking out drama, they can learn to appreciate calm and stable moments, which can help them develop more authentic and peaceful relationships. Practicing mindfulness and learning how to regulate their emotional energy can bring balance to their lives. 16. Insecurity behind the confidence, the fear of being unimportant. Beneath their bold exterior and radiant confidence, Leo often carries a deep-seated insecurity, the fear of being unimportant or irrelevant. While Leos are known for their courage and self-assuredness, they are also deeply concerned with their legacy and how they are perceived by the world. Their need to feel important and recognized can sometimes mask their inner doubts. And they often fear that, if they are not admired, they may cease to exist in the eyes of others. Astrological insight. As a fire sign ruled by the sun, Leos are deeply tied to their identity and public image. The sun represents the ego and the self, so when Leos are not receiving the attention they feel they deserve, they can experience intense feelings of insecurity. Their need to shine brightly in the world is not just about enjoying admiration, it's tied to their existential need to feel relevant and significant. The impact on relationships. This insecurity can drive Leos to constantly seek affirmation and approval, which can place undue pressure on those around them. In relationships, this can lead to emotional dependence, as Leos might expect their partners to validate them constantly. This fear of being overlooked can cause Leos to become possessive or controlling, hoping to hold on to the attention and admiration they so desperately crave. Real-life example. A Leo in a friendship might feel hurt if they don't receive enough attention or acknowledgement from their friends. They might begin to act out, create drama, or even withdraw to protect themselves from the perceived rejection. Despite their outward confidence, this behavior often stems from a fear that they are not being seen or valued enough. Advice for Leos. To overcome this fear, Leos need to develop a sense of self-worth that does not rely solely on external validation. Recognizing their intrinsic value and focusing on nurturing internal confidence can help alleviate the pressure to always be the center of attention. Leos should learn that their worth is inherent, not contingent on the opinions of others, and that real fulfillment comes from self-acceptance and inner peace. Conclusion. As we conclude our exploration of the hidden dark sides of Leo, it's clear that while this fiery sign is filled with passion, strength, and charisma, they also face inner challenges that require attention and self-awareness. From their need for validation and control to their fear of rejection and insecurity, these traits are part of Leo's complex nature. But here's the truth: recognizing and understanding these darker aspects is not a sign of weakness, it's an opportunity for growth. When Leos confront their insecurities, embrace vulnerability, and seek balance, they can transform their relationships and live a more authentic, fulfilling life. If you're a Leo, or if you know someone with this powerful sign, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on these traits and how they might be influencing your life. Growth begins with self-awareness. And by acknowledging these challenges, you can empower yourself to create deeper connections and find true peace within. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Leo's hidden darkness. I hope you found insight and inspiration. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life so you can continue exploring the mysteries of the zodiac and personal growth. We have many more topics to uncover, and I can't wait to share them with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Let's keep the conversation going, and I'll see you in the next video.